Most magical traditions use a fourfold template from which to view the world. 4 seasons, 4 elements, and from this we've derived stations in the magical circle based on the 4 main directions. But elves do not exist as part of our perspective of life. I mean, that much is obvious. Our seasons are classified based on weather and therefore really can be longer or shorter from year to year. Though in our symmetry we always represent them as 3 months long. The Edaphic seasons are 3, and there's little hope of making a universal calendar from it. If you were going to plot it on a fixed year, it would look like the diagram that's to follow, which is from Merlyn's Magick. The first season, Fionn, the rebirth season, literally the light season, would be kind of like the spring. The renewal season, Rook, the life season, the red season, is a season of maturity. Kind of like summer into fall maybe, and then Dion, the dark season or the brown season, is like kind of like winter. I mean, really though, it's almost like spring, summer, and winter respectively, with like autumn just kind of being part of the red and brown seasons. This is definitely hard to conceive with humans really liking that perfect symmetry in numbers. You'll actually find that most of the older and ancient traditions are preserved in 3s, trinities, and triads. But Edaphism, the Edaphic tradition, is the Elven form of natural magic. To the elves, this is natural, inborn talent. The source of the elves' magic, it comes from the earth and from within, as is all connected. Magical abilities are automatic. They continue to grow while an elf works with the land, and the instinct to guard the land, guardianship, is inherent in the elf, and therefore natural magic becomes naturally innate. The magic of the elves has many mediums. Most of them come to be considered like practices of the druids and the shamans of Europe. Edaphic magic can be any form that pertains to like the soils or what comes from them, including but not limited to like herbalism, tree magic, crystals, stones, agriculture, light work, anything like that, energy. Elves don't recognize a concept of global creation per se. To them, all things change and are recreated with each passing moment. So they don't necessarily recognize aging and dying as we do, and they're not programmed to await death, nor is it glorified, and they avoid violence and heal their wounds. So that's why they don't consider themselves also immortals. They're not really creatures of death. And with that, scars, are not battle wounds to them. They live longer lives, focus more on breath, more on the natural joys to be found, and try not to live confined by time. In the old wives' tales of Europe, there were rumors that elves would come and steal babies, leaving one of their own in its place, called like the changeling. This is not usually the case, but every tale has some truth between the lines. There's something called the Elven transmutation, which is a process where an elemental actually joins with another form, usually occurring in a human. It can really occur at any stage. The simulacrum, or human being, is supposed to be of proper blood, to be a prospect, or has the right life path, depending on what the entity kind of feels like they need to have accomplished, or whatever purpose they're here to serve. The life patterns dictate any external significant in one's life. I mean, often the barriers and situations and social issues that can be relived over and over and over again, it's this internal reaction that determines when an external factor has been overcome. So life patterns could be considered life lessons that we have repeated before us until we get it right. And actually, in Jungian psychology and Freud and all that, they say that we relive phases of our childhood many, many times before death. So different patterns of life, different programs and whatnot can allow for that. All elementals actually possess the ability of transmutation, but the elves do it most frequently, followed by the sylphs and dragons.